Steve,
Yeah.
I know we talked a lot actually, and we talked a lot about, for lack of a better word, old Steve, new Steve, that type of a thing,
Yeah.
And just curious, what do you what is something that you hope that was true of you, of old Steve, that is still true in the new Steve?
Um, well, I can tell you what I know is true. I mean, I still genuinely care for people. I mean, I always had a. Um, think of. I don't know if it's more so just wanting to, be liked kind of thing. And so it was like I kind of felt like I sometimes went the extra mile to make sure that that I was liked. Uh, which no, I know that I was liked by people, um, by many people. Um, it shows just in posting these videos, the responses that I've gotten, um, which are amazing. Um, but yeah, no, I think I've always like genuinely wanted to um, be a good person, and I think that even though I lost my way, um, that I always still kind of held true to that. Um, once again, referring back to the writing that I've done, it's part of the process that we do. It's looking at it. It's like, well, did you do those things for specific reasons? Was I doing those things to get something out of it? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Um, so it's almost like you have to look at that, like, okay, what are my ulterior motives, or what was I, did I really want to help that person, or was I just doing it to, I don't know, make people think that I was a good person? Which I know. I mean, I know deep down that I am a good person. Um, so either whether I'm drinking or not drinking, I know I'm a good person. Um, good person that just makes or made, um, whatever, some bad choices. That's it, really. I mean, I hope, you know, um, I know that people think that, because they've expressed it, so, um, that's, obviously along the lines of self doubt and whatever, that kind of stuff. But I think for the most part, I know, just in the last few days, which is kind of remarkable, just uh, just kind of following those urges to do the right thing, and like just feeling at peace with, you know, um, like holy shit, that actually felt good to give a shit about somebody else. I'm not thinking about myself at all. And that's also talked about in the program, is that get outside of yourself long enough to help somebody else. um, and so like say if you're having a shitty day, just by doing one small random act of kindness, whether it's like I've said to you before, whether it's smiling at the woman in the toll booth and saying good morning to her, um, or just smiling at somebody, which I've heard that's like goes a long way. Just smile at somebody, and that just makes you feel good. So I'm just trying to do more of that.
Okay. So, on the flip side of that question is, what is something that was true of you then that you hope, or you know that is definitely not true of you today, after having gone through this process, this past year or so?
So what was true of me then that's not true now?
Yes.
Oof.
I have to ask these questions.
No, I know. What's true of me then? Wow. Hmm. Well, I can definitely just say, basically, based off the same thing I just said, that ultimately I did do things for with ulterior motive, hidden agenda, whatever. Um, whether it was, some girls, that I liked or whatever, it was, in my mind, it was, some girls, it was, the intent to, whatever, to have sex or whatever, just, that whole thing. I was feeling like behind the ball on that one. Up until senior year, it was kind of like, okay, when's this gonna happen? But it, so yeah, I can honestly say that, I did things, I did things that were not right, to people, whether they know it or not. You know, like I said, it just was always looking for that one thing that was going to make me feel better about myself. And sometimes it didn't matter how I went about doing it. Didn't matter if I was hurting somebody's feelings without even really them even knowing, or I don't even know if that's possible, but just going in with the wrong mindset. And that is definitely, that's the shit that not only myself, but a lot of people, I'm sure, whether you're alcoholic or an addict or not, a lot of people do that. A lot of the selfishness, the self-centeredness is in a lot of people. It's always like, how can I get something out of this person or this place or this thing, whether it's, I'm going to donate all this money, or donate money to this cause, but then be like, look at me, I donated all this money to this cause. It's like, no, that's not what it's really all about, and that's something that I have learned, is that, as much shame and, a lot of the guys that I live with know a lot of my shit that I did. And they know the shame and the guilt and the pain that I felt after going through the process and having to, really look at myself and see, wow, you did some shit, Steve, that wasn't really good. But that's different now. That's definitely one thing that's different now, is that I don't even look at women as the same, to be honest with you. I don't look at women the same at all. Just trying to find you know, a partner or a girlfriend, to me it's so gotten to the point where it's like, you know, really, why do I want a girlfriend, or why do I want to be with somebody? Is it because I got divorced, you know, and that I'm missing that connection? Sure, part of it, but you know, I think the other part of it is just like, all right, why do I really want to be with somebody? You know, you know, and I still don't know. You know, I still don't know. Do I really need to be somebody? What I would like is somebody that just kind of complements my new way of thinking, the new way of doing things. That is not going to try to change me, or not going to be like, oh, you're doing this wrong, that wrong. You know, more so somebody that just is going to kind of like be like, all right, Steve, you're being a jerk. All right, you know, that's it, and not have it blow up to this big thing, which I think a lot of people kind of in relationships try to impose their will and their ways on their partners, which can cause conflict. You know, so I don't know if I answered the question, but that's just definitely one of those things that, you know, I have to live with those things that I did. Yeah, nobody else does.